सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। आत्मा रामानन्दरमणा आत्मा रामानन्दरमणा अच्युत केशव हरिनारायण अच्युत केशव हरिनारायण भवभयहरणा वन्दितचरणा भवभयहरणा वन्दितचरणा रघुकुलभूषण राजीवलोचन रघुकुलभूषण राजीवलोचन आदिनारायण अनन्तशयना आदिनारायण अनन्तशयना सच्चिदानन्दा सत्यनारायण सच्चिदानन्दा सत्यनारायण भवभयहरणा वन्दितचरणा रघुकुलभूषण राजीवलोचन आत्मा रामानन्दरमणा आनन्दरमणा। ॐ नमो नारायणाय ഓം നമോ നാരായണായ. ഓം നമോ നാരായണായ. ഓം നമോ നാരായണായ. ഓം നമോ നാരായണായ. സദാശിവസമാരംഭാം ശങ്കരാചാര്യമധ്യമാം അസ്മദാചാര്യപര്യന്താം വന്ദേ ഗുരുപരമ്പരാം. ശ്രുതിസ്മൃതിപുരാണാനാം ആലയം കരുണാലയം. നമാമി ഭഗവത്പാദം ശങ്കരം ലോകശങ്കരം. ശങ്കരം ശങ്കരാചാര്യം കേശവം ബാദരായണം. സൂത്രഭാഷ്യകൃതൗ വന്ദേ ഭഗവന്തൗ പുനഃ പുനഃ. സമസ്തജനകല്യാണേ നമാമി ചിന്മയം ദേവം സദ്ഗുരും ബ്രഹ്മവിദ്വരം. സദ്ഗുരും ബ്രഹ്മവിദ്വരം. Let us chant from verse number 10, page number 30. एतद् भगवतो वाक्यं स्वात्मशुद्ध्यैकसिद्धये विचार्यते मया सम्यक्. श्रीहरिर्मे प्रसीदतां. रागद्वेषादयः कामः क्रोधलोभादयोऽपि च अहङ्कारस्तथा स्वार्थः विविधा मनसो मलाः. एते सर्वे हि दृश्यन्ते जागृति प्रलीनं च यदा चित्तं नैतेषां दृश्यते गतिः. जाग्रत्यपि च विद्वांसं पीडयन्ति न ते तथा. अविद्वांसं यथा लोकं दयापात्रं च सर्वदा. तस्मादज्ञानमेवात्र सर्वदा दुःखकारणं. पं हि ज्ञातव्यं विचारेणाधुना मया. सत्यबुद्धिर्यदा दृश्ये स्वात्मनो भिन्नता तथा. सुखबुद्धिस्तदा तस्मिन् दुःखबुद्धिर्हि वा भवेत्. रागद्वेषौ प्रजायेते तदा चित्ते वृथैव हि. ताभ्यां ह्यहं प्रवर्ते वा निवर्ते. लाभे सुखी तथा दुःखी ह्यलाभे प्रियवस्तुनः. संसारोऽयं मया प्राप्तः मिथ्याध्यासपुरःसरः. The purpose of life is only one, to realize the self. But then, along with right knowledge, we also need a purified mind. Only when the mind is pure, only such a pure mind will show interest in spiritual matters. And moreover, only such a mind will be able to do serious sadhana. So therefore, purity of mind is absolutely essential. What are the usual ways of purification of mind? Yajnam, Danam, Tapaha, Vrataha, Tirtham. There are so many ways, but only when we have the right understanding behind all these sadhanas, true purification will happen. Right understanding is therefore the most important thing. Vichara sadhana. In fact, when we do all this yajna, dana, tapas, etc., the punya of those sadhana is you are able to think clearly. All the other sadhana prepares you for vichara sadhana. Don't think vichara sadhana is easy. What is there, Swamiji? Sit and listen. That's all, no? No. It's the most difficult sadhana. It's a subtle sadhana. Subtler the sadhana, more difficult it becomes. Grosser the sadhana, at the body level, doing anything is easy. But at the mind level, doing becomes difficult. So, the gross bodily sadhanas prepare you for vichara sadhana. Sadhana at the intellectual level. There are so many people who come into this LKG, UKG grade, but how many of them pass 10th standard, 10th grade? Out of that, how many reach graduation? Out of that, how many reach PhD? You will find that the percentage goes on decreasing. Why is it decreasing? Vichara sadhana is difficult. Thinking is very difficult. It's not easy. Okay. So, now we are going to do vichara sadhana in spirituality. So, question number 1. What are the different impurities of the mind? Verse number 11. Raga, dvesha, kama, krodha, ahankara, swartha. Plenty of them. Okay. Now the next question is, how do we know whether these impurities belong to consciousness or it belongs to the mind? So what is the proof? When in the waking state, when the mind is active, these impurities are there. In the deep sleep state, when the mind becomes inactive, these impurities are not seen. When the mind is, they are. When the mind is not, they are not. So this is called as Anvaya Vyatireka. When entity A is, B is. When A is not, B is not. Therefore, B depends on A for its existence. Okay, we understand that these are all the qualities of the mind. But now, how do we know whether these negativities are the nature of the mind or the properties of the mind? So yesterday we had made the distinction. Nature of a thing is something which cannot be separated from that thing. Then that is called as a nature. Whereas a property can be separated. So if this is the definition between nature and property, all these impurities, are they the nature or the property? If it is a nature, then we can stop our study because purification is impossible. Just like heat cannot be separated from fire, just like sweetness cannot be separated from sugar because they are the nature of fire and sugar. In the same way, if these impurities are the nature of the mind, then you can never purify the mind. Separate these impurities from the mind. So how will we know whether these properties, whether these are the nature of the mind or the property? Property is something which you can separate it. So then it is said here, Mahatmas with the right knowledge, they are not troubled in the waking state by this negativity. Knowledgeable person is not troubled by this negativity. It is only the ignorant people who are troubled by these negativities. So that itself shows that with right knowledge, these impurities can be eliminated. So therefore, since in the knowledgeable person, these impurities are not seen, only in the ignorant person, these impurities are seen. Therefore, what is the most important thing to remove all this impurity? Knowledge. Right knowledge, right understanding about life. So therefore, we must gain the right understanding and we must remove the ignorance. So now comes Vichara Sadhana, or the enquiry into the source of these impurities. How did the mind acquire these impurities? So verse number 15, 16, 17 we were discussing. The first step, Satya Buddhihi Drishye. In the world, we find ourselves in this world. We see things being situations. What's the first step? Satya Buddhi. They exist. They are real. Also, Bhinna Buddhi. They are different from me. Then what happens? Interaction happens. Then what happens? Out of interaction, some things and beings give me joy, sukha. Some things and beings give me dukkha. So, sukha buddhi, dukkha buddhi, out of interaction. What is the next step? Whatever is giving me sukha, joy, I develop raga, attachment. Whatever is giving me dukkha, sorrow, I develop aversion, hatred. So, raga, dvesha. After that, what happens? Once I am attached to a thing or a being, I start working to acquire them, to possess them, to make it a part of my life. So again, pravritti, nivritti. Pravritti means action, nivritti means withdrawal. Those things and beings which are creating dukkha for me, sorrow for me, I avoid them. Nivritti. So see the cycle now. What is the cycle? Karma, karma phala, sukha dukkha, raga dvesha, then raga dvesha prerita karma. Again karma phala, again sukha dukkha. Earlier that thing was giving me joy, now it is giving me sorrow. Now I don't want that person or a thing or a being. Earlier that person was giving me sorrow, but now that person is giving me joy. Now I want that person. So this goes on and on and on. And now this is a vicious cycle. This vicious cycle is what is called as samsara. Samsaroyam maya praptaha mithya adhyasa purassaraha. Actually speaking, what are these? Really speaking, there is nothing other than me. World is an illusion. All these things, beings, situations don't have any existence apart from me. I alone exist. But now because of this ignorance, again and again, my mind is projecting these things. I come into this world because I have a desire, unfulfilled desire, to interact with these things, being situation. This desire in me is again and again bringing me into this world. So what is the expression of ignorance? Desire. What is the expression of desire? Manifest into this world in order to indulge in the sense objects. So therefore, how can I stop this? How can I break this vicious cycle? I don't want to come back into this painful world. How can I break it? You can't say that, okay, this world doesn't exist. It's an illusion. That is not the starting point. You have to start where you are. Where are we? The world is real. I am there. Objects are there. This is where I am. So where should we start? At present, I have a desire for these sense objects. I must stop these desires. I must get rid of these desires. That is the starting point. And a time comes when my mind becomes totally free from desires. After that, the cosmic mind will no more project this external world, because the necessary element or factor to come to this world is you must have a desire, an unfulfilled desire. If you don't have any desire, why should you come? So therefore, at present I see certain desires in the mind. Get rid of those desires. This is the practical solution. So now, how to get rid of various desires? That is the next topic. Now we will enter into that topic. Verse number 18, page number 49. Upayastu pura proktaha Naradena yudhishtiram Chittadosha nivrityartham Shreyase cha smaramitam Upayastu pura proktaha Naradena yudhishtiram Chittadosha nivrityartham Shreyase cha smaramyatam. Yes. Upaya, how to get rid of these desires in the mind, various negativities in the mind. My own negative thoughts are attracting a world for me, negative or positive, whatever, in the form of desires. These thoughts are bringing me again and again back to this world. What is the solution to get rid of all this? Upaya tu pura proktaha. The way to put an end to all these desires have been already mentioned. By whom? In all our scriptures. But here, Naradena Yudhishtiram. To Yudhishthira, Narada Rishi has spoken how to get rid of all these desires. Where did Naradji speak to Yudhishthira? So, now the next 4 verses are from Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto, 15th chapter, 22, 23, 24, 25 verses in Srimad Bhagavatam, 15th chapter, 7th canto. That is the portion which is repeated as it is. So, Upayaha pura proktaha. The way to get rid of all desires has been already mentioned by Naradji to Yudhishthira. Chitta dosha nivrityartham, in order to purify one's mind. Shreyase cha smaramitam, I remember them. I remember them for my own good. Shreyase. Because those verses are very practical for all of us. So therefore, let me remember those verses. Okay. Now let us chant 19, 20, 21, 22. So verse number 19, page number 51. Asankalpa jayet kamam Krodham kama vivarjanat Arthanarthe kshaya lobham Bhayam tattvavamarsanat Asankalpa jayet kamam Krodham kama vivarjanat Arthanarthe kshaya lobham Bhayam tattvavamarsanat. 20, page number 60. Anvikshikya shokamoho dambham mahadupasaya yogantarayan maunena himsam kayadyanihaya anvikshikya shokamoho dambham mahadupasaya yogantarayan maunena himsam kayadyanihaya. Page 63, verse 21. Kripaya bhutajam dukkham daivam jahyat samadhina atmajam yoga viryena nidram sattva nishevaya kripaya bhutajam dukkham daivam jahyat samadhina atmajam yoga viryena nidram sattva nishevaya. Page number 70, 22nd verse. Rajastamascha sattvena sattvam chopashamena cha etat sarvam gurau bhaktya purusho hyanjasa jayet. Rajastamascha sattvena sattvam chopashamena cha etat sarvam gurau bhaktya purusho hyanjasa jayet. Now come to verse number 19, page 51. So, various kinds of impurities of the mind, how to get rid of. So, some important ones are mentioned here. Kamam, Krodham, Lobham, Bhayam, Shoka, Moha, Dambha, Himsa. All those things. So, now let us analyze one by one. So, what is the first one? Asankalpat Jayet Kamam. So the first one is Kama. What is Kama? Generally the translation is desire. But among all the desire, which is the most powerful desire, it is a sexual desire only. It's a big elephant in the room which nobody wants to talk about. So therefore, we will have to spend some time. Especially this troubles the younger generation. Younger generation, teenagers, they really struggle with this. And unfortunately, especially in the modern times, this karma has become such a big nuisance in the society. There is no proper guidance which the youngsters get from the parents because they don't want to talk about it. No proper guidance they get from their teachers. They don't get any guidance from the schools, from the colleges. So therefore, naturally what will they do? They will go to this internet, social media. And there, unfortunately, you will find lot of wrong information given. And again, these wrong informations have millions of views. So the tendency is to think that whatever they say is right. Because millions of people are watching it. Right? And generally what happens is, whatever I like to hear, I want to hear. Nobody wants bitter truth. everybody wants sweet lie only. So that is why all these, videos get millions of views. So now, any problem in life, how should we handle them? We should handle them through the knowledge of the scriptures. Right thinking you will get only from the scriptures. So therefore, now we are going to analyze this aspect in little detail. Because every time we don't get an opportunity to discuss this matter. Okay? Right. Now, this sexual pleasure, is it good or bad? So if we have to decide upon this, we will have to use 3 means of knowledge. What are the 3 means? Number 1, Shruti. What do the scriptures say about it? Number 2, Yukti. What does logic say about it? And third one, Anubhuti. What is our experience saying about it? Shruti, Yukti, Anubhuti. So we have to analyze this aspect from 3 different angles. So the first one is Shruti. What do the scriptures say about this pleasure? Unanimously, all the scriptures, they say that this pleasure is defective. In Bhagavad Gita, what is said? Ye hi samsparshaja bhogaah dukkhayonaya evate adyantavantah kaunteya nate shuramate buddha. Ye hi samsparshaja bhogaah. All this pleasure born out of sense organs coming in contact with sense objects. What is their nature? Dukkha yoni. It is a source of sorrow. Adyantavanta. It has a beginning, it has an end. Agre amrutopamam pariname vishamiva. In the beginning it is amrutam, nectarian, very pleasurable, very joy-giving. But in the end, visham, it is poison. It is a sweet poison. Not only, many places in Bhagavad Gita you will find. Trividham narakasyedam dwaram nashanam atmanah kamakrodhastatha lobhah tasmate tatrayam tyajet. Trividham narakasya idam dwaram. There are 3 doorways to hell. What are the 3 doorways? Kama, Krodha, Lobha. Kama means lust, Krodha means anger, Lobha means greed. Tasmat etatrayam tyajet. Instruction is give it up, because it will lead you to hell. Okay. Then Arjuna asks a question in 3rd chapter. Bhagavan, why is it that people commit sin even though they know that it is sin? So what is the answer given? Kama esha krodha esha rajo guna samudbhavah mahashano mahapapma vidyena miha vairinam. Arjuna, this kama, this krodha, rajo guna samudbhavah, this comes when the mind is in rajas. Mahashanaha, it will eat away everything that is good in you. Mahapapma, it will make you commit all sins. Vidhi enam iha vairinam, understand this to be your enemy. So in this way, Bhagavan has in Bhagavad Gita mentioned in so many places how this is dangerous. Again in Kathopanishad, if you say Shruti Pramanam is needed, this is Smriti Pramanam. What is Shruti Pramanam? Shruti means Vedas. Kathopanishad. Shobhava martyasya yadantakaitat sarvendriyanam jarayanti tejah. So in Kathopanishad, when Yamaraj offers Apsaras, Nachiketa, don't ask about self-knowledge. I can give you all the Apsaras of Swarga. They will entertain you. You will have wonderful time. What did Nachiketa say? Sarvendriyanam jarayanti tejaha. Therefore, tavaiva vaha tava nritya gite. Your nritya and gita, dance and music, keep yourself with you. I don't want it because it will drain away all the vitalities of the senses. This is all what this pleasure can give you. So this is Shruti Pramana. Again, I got some nice verse from Ayurveda also. Dhanvantari and Sushruta. So these disciples, they went to Dhanvantari and Sushruta. They are the masters of Ayurveda. And they said, how to keep this body strong? So then Dhanvantari says, both of them. Mrityu vyadhi jaranashi piyusham paramaushadham brahmacharyam mahatratnam satyameva vadamyaham shantim kantim smritim jnanam arogyam chapi santatim ya ichhati mahadharmam brahmacharyam charediha. Piyusham paramaushadham brahmacharyam. The practice of celibacy, it is piyusham, it is amritam. Why? Mrityu vyadhi jara nashi. The one who practices it, he is able to conquer death, mrityu, vyadhi, disease, jara, old age. All these will be destroyed. Meaning, you will have a very good health if you practice brahmacharya. Mahatratnam, it is a great jewel. Satyameva vadamyaham, I am telling you the truth. Shantim, peace. Kantim, spiritual glow. Smritim, memory. Jnanam, knowledge. Arogyam, health. Ya ichhati mahadharmam brahmacharyam charet. Those who want all these things, may that person follow brahmacharya. And now there is another verse which says how in this sexual act, how we are wasting our sexual fluid. How much valuable this sexual fluid is. There is a mention. Rasatraktam tato mamsam Mamsat medav prajayate medadasthitato majja majjaya shukra sambhavaha. All these important aspects in the body. So when we eat food, what happens to this food? That food becomes a kind of juice, rasam. From that comes raktam, blood. From that comes mamsam, flesh. From flesh comes meda. Meda means fat. From meda comes asti, bone. From asti comes majja, bone marrow. And then from that bone marrow, the essence of that goes on to become the sexual fluid. So what is the sexual fluid in this body? It is the essence of essence. The subtlest essence goes to become the sexual fluid. Because it is this sexual fluid which has the potential to create another life. So the best of your body is going to become that. So when we are wasting it for petty pleasure, actually the essence of the body is wasted. And that is why the body becomes weak in a person who indulges in all these pleasures constantly. Now in Shiva Samhita, Lord Shiva makes a mention. Maranam bindu patena jivanam bindu dharanat tasmadati prayatnena kurute bindu dharanam. Lord Shiva is saying this. Maranam bindu patena. Bindu means the sexual fluid. Every time that sexual fluid is gone, there is death. Maranam. Jivanam bindu dharanat. When you are preserving this, it is life. Wasting it is death. Preserving it is life. Tasmat ati prayatnena. Therefore, you must put forth all effort for what? Bindu dharanam. To protect this sexual fluid in you. So therefore, Now I think this is enough. Lot of scriptures, all the scriptures, in Bible also there are so many such quotes. All the scriptures are unanimous in this. In what? In practicing celibacy. So this is Shruti Pramana. In fact, that itself is enough. Yukti and Anubhuti is not needed. But even then, just for our analysis sake, we are going to take up Yukti. Yukti means logic. What happens to a person? What happens to a person who is indulging too much in all these kinds of pleasures? See, every time we are indulging in this pleasure, we are training the mind in sexual thoughts. Every time we are entertaining sexual thought, what are we doing? We are training the mind. Now, how will that mind behave? That mind will behave according to the way in which we have trained. So what kind of personality will that person have? That person will automatically tend to develop a vulgar personality. A person who entertains vulgar thoughts will have a vulgar personality. What do you mean vulgar personality? Such a person, every situation that person will feel like cracking a vulgar joke. Because only vulgar thoughts are coming. Especially in the colleges, you will find, such youngsters. Anything you say, that fellow will come with a vulgar joke. Why? Because he is filled with vulgarity. Naturally, such a person's personality will be a vulgar personality. Now, these are all laws. What is the law? As you are thought, so will be the world perceived by you. What kind of world you will see, it depends on what kind of thoughts you have. If you have good thoughts, you will see a beautiful world. If you have bad thoughts, you will see only a bad world. Even in good thing, you will see only bad things. It is all the training of the mind. Not only that you will see only bad things, you will attract all bad things unto yourself. That is also a law. As your thoughts, so will be the world formed around you. If I am a vulgar person liking only vulgar things, such vulgar people will automatically become my company, my friends. So I am attracting such a negative environment around me. It is a law. Now see the yukti, how I am suffering because of my negative thoughts. So number one, body becomes weak. Number two, mind becomes filthy, fickle. And number three, such a person will have a strong mind. What about his intellect? He will have a weak intellect. Weak intellect means what? Intellect is the faculty which will help me take right decisions. What is right, what is wrong? It is the intellect which is going to guide me. Intellect has to be strong in me so that whatever is right, I am able to do it even though I may dislike it. Whatever is wrong, I should not do it even though I may like it. So unless the intellect is strong, I will never be able to choose the path of righteousness. Now in this person's case, what happens? Mind becomes strong, intellect becomes weak. So such a person becomes a helpless victim in all tempting situations. Right. This is yukti. So at the body level, at the mind level, at the intellect level, and every time when this desire comes, what happens to the mind? So Bhagavad Gita gives an example. How that desire covers the intellect. Whenever these desires come, all my thinking ability is paralyzed, jammed. Then under the influence of this desire, I become a two-legged animal. And then I commit all sins in the society. In this way also I suffer. So this is called as yukti. Now in the society at present there is a big problem now. A new community has come. What is the name of that community? You all must be knowing. LGBTQ. Where did this LGBTQ come from? It was not there earlier. Now where did this community come from? It has come from this, what is called as freedom. It is my life, who are you to question? I will live the way I want. Okay sir, you live the way you want. And finally become an LGBTQ. Where is this LGBTQ coming from? Indiscipline at the thought level. vulgarity at the thought level. The more and more you entertain such vulgar thoughts, remember this, Sukshma Sharira decides the Sthula Sharira. This is the logic. We have studied Tattvabodha. Where is this physical body coming from? Physical body is coming from our thoughts. Our subtle thoughts decides the gross body. Sukshma Sharira defines the Sthula Sharira. If my thoughts are so vulgar that I am having sexual attraction towards a male also and a female also, Mother Nature is confused. What kind of body has to be given to this fellow? Because he is attracted towards everyone. So then a specific body will be given to you. Neither male nor female. Or having both characteristics. So if you mess up with the laws of the universe, you will have to pay a price. If you live a disciplined life, you will have absolutely no problem. Just imagine the two extremes. A person who is pure at mind, he transcends gender, becomes a Jivan Mukta, goes beyond the body, goes beyond man and woman. He transcends gender, the other person becomes a transgender. Are you able to see the difference? Remain pure and you will go beyond all this. Become impure and there is no limit to which you can fall. There is no limit. It is said that there are some 250 genders at present. Where did all this come from? Earlier, in the Vedic times and maybe 50, 100 years, etc., there was so much of strictness which has been followed with respect to all these things. Society itself was designed in such a way that automatically we had to follow the path of discipline. But today, everything is available in the name of freedom. Remember this. Scriptural freedom will give you, Scriptural bondage will lead you to worldly. Scriptural bondage will lead you to worldly freedom. Worldly freedom will lead you to worldly bondage. If you live within the discipline of the scriptures, it will lead you to freedom. But if you live a free life, it will lead you to bondage. When the scripture says, don't do this, do this, it may appear that it is bondage. But actually it is not bondage. It will give you freedom. What is true freedom? Mastery over mind is freedom. Mastery over the senses is freedom. That is called true freedom. So, if you live within scriptural bondage, if you are bound by the scriptures, it will lead you to freedom, true freedom. But suppose you live a free life, worldly free, then you will become bound. You will become a slave of the mind, slave of the senses, slave of the world. To the extent we go away from scriptures, this is what is going to happen. Yash shastra vidhimutsrajya vartate kamakaratah nasa siddhim avapnoti nasukham naparam gatim. Those people who live an indulgent life, sensuous life, free life, flaunting all the scriptural values, nasa siddhim avapnoti, there is no question of spiritual liberation. Nasukham, even in this world, that person cannot be happy. Then what to talk of higher worlds? This is what we are seeing in the society now. Yukti is also absolutely true. Anubhuti, experience also. When you indulge in these acts, what is your experience? You find that you are drained away. You are exhausted. You don't feel fresh like meditation. You are tired. That exhaustion itself is a proof that something is being taken away from you. So, Shruti, Yukti, Anubhuti. This is the way any situation has to be analyzed. Now the next question comes. Swamiji, do you mean to say that sexual suppression is the solution? Do you mean to say these desires have to be suppressed? Because these desires come, what to do? So here we have to be very careful. Suppression is not the solution. We talk of sublimation. So what is sublimation? See, basically the mind wants happiness. If you are not exposing the mind to the higher happiness, it will enter into lower happiness because that's all what it knows. As Pujya Gurudev used to say, if you don't feed your dog properly with good food, it will go to the street and eat all filth. In the same way, if you are not exposing the mind to the higher joys of life, what are the higher joys? The joy of meditation, the joy of selfless service, the joy of discipline, the joy of devotion, they are all higher joys. If you are not exposing the mind to the higher joy, the mind will seek the lower ones. So what is the way in which mind can leave the lower? Only by exposing it to the higher. When the mind gets the higher, automatically it leaves the lower. This is called as the method of sublimation. So when spiritual people say get rid of this kama vasana, it is through sublimation and not through suppression. Suppression is not a solution at all. With your willpower you may suppress, but sometime or the other it will explode and create a bad scene. Anything which is suppressed will have to explode. So suppression is not what is suggested by the scriptures, it is sublimation. The mind is getting a higher joy, more fulfilling joy, therefore out of its own choice, such an educated mind leaving the lower ones. That is called as sublimation. Now the next question is, suppose a person is not evolved enough to achieve the process of sublimation, then what? Then we say, fine, one of the very many purposes of Grihastha is to go through this experience in a socially acceptable way, in a legitimate way. One of the very many purposes of Grihastha is this. Family life, yes, go through that experience. But remember, you are going through that experience not to indulge. Grihastha is not a license to indulge. What is it then? You are indulging so that you become conscious of what is happening and slowly you are able to withdraw from it. You are able to win over it. That is the purpose. That is why it is called as Grihastha Ashrama. It is also an ashrama. Because the effort is to win over all the negativities. This clarity has to be there. So that is why Mahatmas like Ramakrishna Paramahamsa etc. says, okay, after the birth of one or two children, husband and wife should live like brothers and sisters. Yes. It's not that lifelong you go on indulging. No, that is not the purpose. You are there to win over it. So go through the experience, consciously go through the experience, be painfully aware of the consequences, and then educate the mind, come out of this weakness. This is what we are supposed to do. Okay, yes, now come to this line. So this much is necessary. Okay, certain things we may not be able to tell our children. A recording is happening, just share it with your children. Because it is our responsibility as parents to show them the right path. And the only right path is the path shown by the scriptures. Right, now the question is how to win over this lust. So what is written here? Asankalpat jayet kamam. So now, see, any weakness of the mind can be overcome only by paying attention to what happens at that time. When kama comes, when the desire comes, what happens? Generally the tendency is to do sankalpa. Sankalpa means what? Imagination. Imagining that sexual act in the mind. Why are we imagining it? Because it gives a pleasure. Which pleasure? Priya, Moda or Pramoda? Tattvabodha students. Priya, Moda or Pramoda? Priya. Imagining the sense object and indulging in it. That is called as Priya. Physically indulging in the sense object, that is pramoda. Pramoda means joy. So priya, moda, pramoda, they are different levels of joy of the Anandamaya Kosha. Anyway, so the first thing is, always you will observe that by mentally indulging in that act, there is a joy. That is called as sankalpa. Samyak kalpana. Imagining it and finding a pleasure in it. Sankalpa. So the tendency is, I imagine it and get that pleasure. So what will be the next step? I imagine more and more, because then it will give more and more pleasure. What is said here? Stop it then and there. Why you have to stop it? Because every time that pleasure comes, remember that karma is going to wheel your jnana, wheel your intellect. Every time you experience that pleasure, intellect gets paralyzed. There's a paralytic attack. Intellect getting paralyzed means what? Just like when hand goes through a paralytic attack, what happens to your hand? Hand is there, but you can't operate it. It is your hand, but that hand you cannot operate. Your choice or the freedom to operate your own instrument becomes incapacitated. In the same way, there is a paralytic attack at the intellect level when you are going through that pleasure. That karma covers that jnana. So what are the examples given in Bhagavad Gita? Dhumena vriyate vannihi yathadarsho malena cha yatholbena vrito garbha tatha tenedamavritam. 3 examples are given. What is the first example? Just like the smoke covering the fire, that's the first stage. Meaning what? Still you are in control. Desire is there, you can put an end. You can stop the sankalpa. It has not yet completely taken control of the intellect. That is that smoke, fire example. Just puff it and the smoke is gone, fire is clear. No much effort is needed to remove the smoke from the fire. That's enough, it's gone. But if you are not careful, you go on indulging in that pleasure carelessly, then what will happen? Next stage. What is the next stage? Yathadarsho malenacha, like the dust fallen upon the mirror. Now mere puffing will not do. You will have to take a cloth and wipe it, meaning more effort. It is like that ball falling from the ladder. Earlier you catch, the better. But after that it gathers momentum and then you will be helpless. What is the third stage now? Yathol benavrto garbha, like that fetus in the womb. Now what is the condition there? The fetus is hanging upside down inside the womb and you are not even able to see the fetus, the baby inside the womb. Meaning hopeless condition. Completely the knowledge becomes ulta. Now the intellect starts saying, yes, this act is good, go ahead. Whatever the mind likes, the intellect starts supporting it. Whatever knowledge you have gained in the scriptures, whatever experience you have gained, wisdom you have gained, everything is cut off from you. That intellect is no more available. Then that person is behaving exactly dictated by that monstrous mind. That person is helpless. That is that fetus inside the womb example. Now 9 months have to pass, only then the baby will come out. You can't even see it. You see, fire you can see through the smoke. Mirror you can see through the dust. Can you see the baby through the womb? Completely covered. Act in haste, repent in leisure. So therefore, what should be done? Any seeker who is serious about it, see the advice given. Asankalpat jayet kamam. First sexual thought you have no control because it is coming from your vasana bundle. First thought, it comes from your prarabdha, from your vasana bundle. You have no thought. But the second thought, choice is yours. Whether to entertain this thought or to end this thought, choice is yours. That is what is called as asankalpa here. Immediately the red signal should glow. Danger signal should glow. Oh, this is going to take me into trouble. Stop. Then what will happen? Over a period of time, all these vasanas will die down. It will no more come. Mind becomes pure. Because you are not entertaining it. Remember, all these negativities are there in my mind because I have consciously or unconsciously entertained it. I have pressed the accelerator. That is why the vehicle is moving. Don't you know it has come some... You only have done it. Who else? Now what has to be done? Consciously stop it. Put a full stop. A few rounds it will come. Slowly it will die down because there is no active cooperation from you. And then over a period of time, Jayet Kamam, you are able to win over this. Another very effective technique is also given by our Bhagavan Shankaracharya in Bhajagovinda. Naristana bharanabhidesham društva magamohavesham etan mamsavasadi vikaram manasi vichintaya varam. Very effective technique. Whenever such desires come, immediately meditate upon the content of the body. What is the content? Inside this beautiful shiny skin, there is filth. Meditate upon that. All bad things are there. Filth and fat and urine and pus and blood and all that. No, Swamiji, I don't know. Okay, go to YouTube and just type in post-mortem videos. They will cut the body. Just watch that video. Meditate upon this. This is the content. Many times we are attracted towards this body because our attention is skin deep. We see the beautiful skin and then we get deluded. See Bhagavan Shankaracharya what he says. Društva maga mohavesham etan mamsa vasa adi vikaram. What is this body? You see, reality will never delude you. It is only the delusion which deludes you. Go to the real essence of everything. Understand what is this body. Everything is filth. The moment you see the filth, all these desires will just vanish. It's a very practical technique. So, asankalpa, this is called as pratipaksha bhavana. Pratipaksha bhavana means see the other side of the story. Pratipaksham. Paksham says that body is beautiful. What is Pratipaksham saying? Body is filthy. So this way, win over Kama Vasana. Right, I think this is enough. Let us proceed further now. Asankalpat Jayet Kamam. What is the next one? Krodham Kama Vivarjanat. Krodham. Krodha means anger. How to handle anger? So what is the advice given? Kama Vivarjana. So here, take Kama as any desire, worldly desires. Wherever there is desire, there will be anger. When that desire is not fulfilled, that desire takes the form of Krodha. So Kama and Krodha always go together. So here Kama means any worldly desire. Greater the desire, greater the insistence. Greater the insistence, greater will be the anger when I am not able to fulfill my desire. So anger is directly proportional to the intensity of desire. So therefore, if I want to get rid of anger, what should I do? Get rid of all kinds of insistence in life, desires in life. See, the more and more your life becomes meditative in nature, you are able to detect all these defects. One of the greatest problems which we face is we are not even able to detect the build-up of these emotions. For example, anger is coming, I don't know. And finally, when this anger takes a very terrible form, comes out in the form of speech and action, only then I am aware that such a thing is there. Regular sadhana, regular meditation, what happens is over a period of time, slowly you develop an intuitive ability to watch your mind even when you are transacting with the world. So as that negativity is rising, irritation is rising, disturbance is rising, you are able to detect it. And what is the law of life? Earlier the detection, easier the correction. The question is, how early are you able to detect? It is same like that ball falling. How early are you able to catch the ball? A stitch in time saves 9, nip it in the bud. Another important aspect about this anger is never justify your anger. Many times we say, oh, unless I get angry, this fellow will not improve. We justify our anger. Remember one thing, as long as you are justifying any of your weakness, you will never come out of it. The first step in winning over any weakness is painfully, shamefully be aware of it. I should be miserable. I am having this. I am not able to win over it. That's the first step. Painfully being aware of it. As long as I justify, I will never win over it. Now again, there are times when you have to show anger. Nothing wrong in showing anger. The problem is in being angry. There are two different things. Sometimes when the children don't behave, you will have to show anger. Showing anger means what? You are only pretending to be angry. Inside your mind is undisturbed. Nothing wrong. There are times when you have to show anger. Nothing wrong. What is the difference between showing anger and being angry? While showing anger, anger is your servant, anger is your slave. When you are angry, you are the slave of anger. There's a huge difference. As long as you are a master of any emotion, that emotion is acceptable. Now another topic. So what is being said here? Wherever there is attachment, there will be anger. Kama means desire, kama means attachment. Wherever there is attachment, anger will be there. So how to get rid of anger? Get rid of attachment. Now a common question they ask is, Swamiji, we have our family, near and dear ones. Do you mean to say that we should not get attached to any of them? Attachment will be there. That means what? You will always find that you get angry only with people whom you are attached to. Especially family members. Your children. So wherever there is attachment, there will be anger. Now here it is at Kama Vivarjanat. So do you mean to say that we should not be attached to our family members? Now see, there are different levels of attachment. One is a tamasic, rajasic, and then sattvic. What is a tamasic? Tamasic state is called unhealthy detachment. What is unhealthy detachment? I don't care. Do whatever you want. That is called as unhealthy detachment. Indifferent attitude. Then there's the rajasic one. What is the rajasic one? Unhealthy attachment. You are so attached. Anything happening there, it happens here also. Such people become extremely miserable, all the time crying and weeping only. Unhealthy attachment. So tamasic way is unhealthy detachment. Rajasic way is unhealthy attachment. You should go the sattvic way. What is the sattvic way? You can call it healthy attachment or you can call it healthy detachment. There is healthy, whether it is attachment or detachment. It is healthy. Healthy means what? On one side you are fulfilling the responsibility as near and dear one, taking care of them, loving them, serving them, everything. But there is a distance also kept. That is called as healthy detachment. That bigger picture is always clear. What is the bigger picture? For the time being, in this life we are relations. A time will come when this relationship will break. A time will come, this relationship has to end. Our only true relationship is with God. You are never forgetting this main relationship. Then you develop healthy detachment. It is healthy. That is what is being said here. Kama vivarjana means what? Detachment. But what kind of detachment? Not unhealthy. I don't care. No. You have to care. But still you should be unaffected. Unaffectedly caring. But that is possible only when you don't forget the bigger picture. Many times what happens? We get so involved in relationship that bigger picture is totally forgotten. God is completely forgotten. I and you and me, that's it. Then you will have problem. The moment God is brought in the picture, God means light. When light is there, everything is clear. The moment God is forgotten, there is only darkness, there is only problem, misery. So, krodham kama vivarjanat. What is the next one? Artha anartha ikshaya lobham. See, always remember, it is the desire which is taking different forms. What is the purpose of discussing all this? We should win over any desire. Remember, krodham is also a kind of desire only. I am desiring something badly. Lobham is also a desire. Bhayam is also a desire, but in a different form, that's all. They are all desires only. So whenever you get angry, you should ask this question, what is that desire which has become this anger? What is that desire which has become this anger? That is a homework you have to do whenever you get angry. What is that insistence in me which has taken this form of anger? And thus you have to deal with anger. The deeper you go into the problem, the more permanent solution you will get. If you remain at the superficial level, your solution also will be temporary. How to control anger? Count 1 to 100. All management gurus will give you such foolish solution. How to control anger? Take a deep breath. Watch your breath. Wherever vichara sadhana is not there, that solution cannot be permanent. Sometimes it might work, most of the time it won't work. Vicharam is absolutely essential. Mind is going through a problem when it is angry. It is an emotion in the mind. Mind has to be educated. And education can come only through right understanding, right knowledge. Suppression will not work. These are all suppressive techniques. Counting 1 to 100, observing your breath. They're all suppression only. It will explode sometime. You can't bypass mind so easily through suppression. Mind is more intelligent than you. Okay, so artha anartha ikshaya lobham. Lobha means greed. Generally, what are we greedy for? Money only, what else? Lobha is always respect to wealth. Why is it that we have so much of fascination for wealth? Do vichara. Why do we have so much of fascination? We have so much of fascination because superficially when we analyze, it appears that wealth can give us everything. A wealthy person can purchase any comforts in life. The best things in life are all costly. Therefore, with money you can purchase anything. Food, comforts, convenience, home, car. This is number one. Number two, in the society, wealthy person is always respected. If you are a wealthy person, everybody wants to be friendly with you. They want to associate themselves with you. That person is loved, respected, valued. So at the body level, food, shelter, clothing. Mind level, love. Intellect level, value, respect. So all the BMI, happy. So therefore, since you can purchase all these things with money, there is a fascination for money. So what has to be done? Artha anartha ikshaya. Ikshaya. See. See means what? Think. What you have to think? How should you analyze? Artha is anartha only. Anartha means calamity. Anartha means that which I don't want is called anartha. Pain, suffering, sorrow. Are you able to see it in the wealth? Try to think that way. It is for happiness that you are earning and earning and earning. See, here it is told as lobham. Huh? Earning wealth is not criticized. But the greed for wealth is what is criticized here. Wealth has its place, no doubt. Food, shelter, clothing, needs, etc. Wealth can give you. It is needed also. But this greed for money, to such an extent that I have no time for anything else in life, my only purpose of life is how to earn more and more. That is called as greed. When such a greed comes, think right. Mudha jahihi dhanagama trishna kuru sadbuddhim manasi vitrishna yallabhase nija karmopatam vittam tena vinodaya chittam. Mudha, fool. Jahihi, give up. Dhanagama trishna, this craving to earn. Greed. Kuru sadbuddhim. Think right. So what is the right way of thinking? Whatever truly I want in life, wealth cannot give. I want good health. Can the wealth give? Wealth can give medicine, wealth can give food, but it cannot give good health. I want good sleep. Can wealth give? It can give me medicine, sleeping pills. But so really speaking, everything which is valuable, wealth cannot give. Peace of mind. You can purchase comforts, but you cannot purchase peace. No. So most valuable things in life cannot be purchased by wealth. Make it very clear. Even true love, can you purchase? You can purchase a relationship, but you cannot purchase love. This is one way of thinking. Another way of thinking, just imagine all the troubles which rich people have to go through. The greatest trouble is a rich person is always insecure. All the kidnapping etc. happens where? Not the poor fellow. Poor fellow is happily roaming around. Nobody will kidnap him. This fellow, security guard, big ferocious dogs, bodyguards, big wall. Just imagine the condition of that person. How much of fear is there? Full of fear. You call it happiness? And what kinds of people come? People come not because of you, people come because of your wealth. All kind of negative people. They become your friends. And this rich person also has to constantly doubt, is this person coming because he truly loves me or is it coming because of money? It is so dangerous to be rich. And another worst thing is, the more and more money you get, more and more egoistic you become, arrogant you become. And arrogance is the father of all vices. You bring in this one vice, all the other vices will come. Arrogance. All the bad habits, drinking, smoking, drugs, the moment you have more money, there is all the possibility that you will slip into all these bad habits. Sense pleasures. So wealth is very dangerous. That is called as anartham. Artham anartham bhavaya nityam. Nasti tatas sukhalesha satyam. Putradapi dhanabhajam bhitihi. Just imagine the family. Son is waiting. When my father is going to die? Father is scared of his own son. Wealth is terrible. And that is why, the sannyasis, who are the really wise people, they take up poverty. They beg food. Begging is the best way. When you beg, what happens? You puncture your ego. It is not that they don't get food from any. There are so many devotees who are ready to feed them, but they will deliberately go to such places where they will be insulted, humiliated, begging. They live a life of poverty. When you are poor, you understand the value of each and everything. When you are rich, you don't understand the value. You think that, I will throw some money and I can get it. You understand the value of a thing only when you are poor. So, deliberately they court poverty. And thus they become rich in all virtues. These are all great truths of life. You become humble when you are poor. Artha anartha ikshaya lobham. What is the next one? Bhayam. That we will discuss in the next class. Okay. Okay. Jaya Shankara Abhayankara Jaya Shankara Abhayankara Parameshwara Pralayankara Jaya Shankara Jaya Shankara Kailasavasa Sarveshwara Pahi Prabho Mam Jagadishwara Pahi Prabho Mam Jagadishwara Jaya Shankara Abhayankara Parameshwara Pralayankara Jaya Shankara Jaya Shankara Gaurivara Gangadhara Gaurivara Gangadhara Pahi Prabho Mam Karunakara Jaya Shankara Abhayankara Parameshwara Pralayankara Jaya Shankara Jaya Shankara Jaya Shankara Jaya Shankara Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om